When we look at man in totality as a species, man wants the truth. It's not necessarily like we're evil. It's just that we are doing what is good in our own eyes. But what is good? Good is subjective. You would think it's objective, but it's really based on opinion. Your good might not be my good, but we know good is what the Bible preaches. Here's the tricky thing about everything. You can be a good person, but what if you don't believe in Christ? We know the law is good. When you live by the law, you are good in the Most High's eyes. But then we have man's eyes. That's the problem. That's the dilemma right there with man and God. We have two different forms of good. Some people think killing is good. Some people think stealing is good. And you're like, how would they think that? Here's the thing. People aren't stupid. When you're doing wrong, you know you're doing wrong. But when you have a purpose and you put yourself over that wrong, when you're selfish enough to do that wrong for gain, that's right in their eyes. What people say? You got to do what you got to do. And that goes, that statement is ambiguous because that covers everything. Hey man, I'm broke. So what I'm finna do, I'm finna go rob this bank. Anybody that look at me crazy, don't give me no money, they finna die. I know it's wrong, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And that's good in my eyes. My back's against the wall. You feel what I'm saying? So that's their ideology. So that's how they manipulate themselves to make wrong good. And that's not necessarily the absolute scapegoat or excuse they use. It might be another excuse that they use to justify their wrongdoings. But do you see how that ends up being right in their eyes? So we have people on this earth that are trying to facilitate a righteous lifestyle for other people so they can implement this in their everyday activities. Let's go to the book of Judges. Book of Judges, chapter 21, verse 25. In those days, there was no king of Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. In his own eyes. That's dangerous. It's not necessarily an anarchy, but we have so much different beliefs. We have people out here that identify as a cardboard box. We got people that identify as a potato. You see how dangerous when you just leave? People have to get led. I ain't gonna lie. People have to get led, and not everybody's the same. Not everybody's the same. We can stop lying to ourselves and say, we all the same. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 we are not. The king's child is more valuable than a peasant's child. Some people have a higher IQ level than others. Some people have better discernment than others. It's funny, when bad things happen, like the government's being corrupt, or let's say a subgroup of people are in subjection, you can see people come together for justice naturally. You can see the innate nature of man to do good, to strive for justice. But the thing is, we have different beliefs. We might have a man with a good disposition, but he believes in Buddha. We might have a good man, but he believes in Shintoism. So we have good people, but they don't accept Christ. So that's the dilemma. That's the whole problem. It's like we want to strive, we want to come together for the truth, but it's people just have different forms of truth. It's not necessarily we're evil, but if we were just left alone with no law, we would corrupt ourselves. And the Most High knows that. With no law, it's corruption, destruction. You might think a man would go to heaven still if he's good and doesn't believe in Christ. But if you don't believe in Christ, you're not going to follow the law of Christ. You're not going to follow the law in the Bible, because if you love Christ, you're going to love the law. You're going to live and strive to do everything it says in the Bible. If you don't love God, how can you be a good man in God's eyes? Because if you don't love God, You're going to neglect the law. So that's the problem. But at the end of the day, we don't know what happens in judgment. When we die, and we going to see what happens. I ain't never heard nobody die and come back and say what happens after they die. Like,